I have found the professor, the master of Yapanese. You guys familiar with Yapanese? A little yapping it up. You guys familiar with this? Really hip with the kids. It's a new term. Well, it's not a new term. Actually, yapping's been around for a while, but it's kind of a big thing right now. People are saying, oh, you're just yapping. You're just yapping. If you talk a little bit too long without saying something of substance, kind of like I'm doing right now, this guy's just yapping. And I found a guy who is just a big yapper, and we're gonna take a look at him. Master your talk, or more like master your yap. Brendan Kumarasamy, I'm definitely butchering that last name, and he's a communication coach, or a yap coach, dare I say. What Brendan has done that is almost legendary in the yap lore, not the right word, is that he fakes podcast clips, which we've seen before, Natalie Reynolds, but I find it so hilarious that people do this and they're just so shameless about it. So let's take a look at some of those, shall we? All right, here we go.
I have this weird habit of making a list of problems that I think I'll have in the future so I can start solving for them right now. And they could be really small, like having a broken computer mouse, to something much more complicated, like a divorce or a passing in the family.
First, a lot to unpack here. I want to divert your attention immediately to the fact that this is not a real podcast. He's just kind of looking off into the distance and talking about things. Second, can we all admit that that is a crazy scenario, that you are making up problems that haven't happened in your life as practice for real problems? I don't know. I think this speaks to insane privilege, that you just have to be so bored with your time that you're just coming up with imaginary problems because you don't have enough real ones in your life. And a divorce? My imaginary problems I'm coming up with is a divorce. I'm planning on the marriage failing.
But the trick is really to start with something easy. So in the case of the computer mouse, I just buy a second one. And actually, funny enough, my computer mouse broke a few weeks ago, so I had the backup. But when you start to picture and imagine the problems you'll have in the future, you'll have a much easier time mitigating them right now.
So now what I'm gonna do, I got this set up for you guys, is I will, for every single one of Brendan's advice, we'll do a little poll on whether you think this is W or L advice. So do you think it's W or L advice to create a list of problems that you don't have yet, so to practice for the real problems? Don't let the way I delivered that sway your answer. Somebody said it in chat, but it kind of just is anxiety. Isn't that just what it is? No, yeah, that's kind of cool. I've actually been practicing my whole life for what he's saying. I kind of been using his advice daily. I'm always thinking of problems that don't exist. Damn, I must be ahead of the game. I'm actually kind of killing it. Sweeping out for L's. I'm sure those 10% of you might have been a little sarcastic, maybe. I think we'll get to some good advice. Right now. This kind of seems like he's seeing demons, you know? He's kind of freaking out, writing problems down that don't exist yet. The fact that he has the fake podcast is kind of adding to the fact that he just might be living in his own world. We don't really know. All right, let's get to the next one. He solved the problem of having no friends by imagining he is talking to someone. Well, that's kind of mean. What else you got, Brandon?
Anyone who wants to be successful in life should own a pair of noise-canceling headphones. And the reason's really simple. Whenever I'm at an airport and I see a couple yelling at each other about negativity and complaining about life, I love to put these headphones on because it cancels out all of that noise. Even when I didn't have a lot of money, I spent $400 on these headphones, and I've used them for years because the negative thoughts that people put into my brain is worth so much more than a few $100s.
Now, this is really good advice, actually. No, this is actually really good advice. Dads and moms in chat, think about it. You might be like, this is stupid. Think about it. What if your kid, if you got like a little baby or like a little child, and they start kind of whining or crying or something, just put on the headphones. Those negative vibes are fucking gone. Doesn't fucking exist. Very specific scenario he's also put out there. He bought $400 headphones specifically for when he's at the airport and there's a couple fighting. Not sure how often I've been in that situation, but I guess it would be helpful then. Okay, yeah, so we said the Instagram comments were mean. Obviously, this is fucking crazy. Indian Stephen Hawking faking an interview while having no friends. Indian Stephen Hawking is crazy. I think this guy legitimately has disability in his left arm, which might make him, like, I think a little slanted in the facial region. And we're not Instagram comments, okay? We're better than that. I'm just looking at what he's talking about. Slanted sounds really bad. All right, I've been looking at these TikToks beforehand, and everyone in the comments, they keep making the same joke that I don't want to say it, dude. You're making me look like the bad guy. Anyway, noise canceling headphones. So stupid, right? Get a load of this guy. W or L advice, noise canceling headphones. Doesn't matter how rich you are, buy them now so you can stop hearing those negative vibes of people talking. I wish I had some right now. Everyone in chat, oh, ableist Gunner, oh, pretty insensitive, accidentally Gunner. You definitely didn't mean that, Gunner, and like we understand you and like we love you and stuff, but oh, what the hell, Gunner? I don't need this negativity from you. All right, we got some W advice from the Yapper. Fair enough. But what if I show you another one? What do you think about it then? Maybe you change your mind?
You spent $10,000 on a painting and you invite all of your friends to your house to look at it. But before you do, you put a bunch of duct tape all over the painting. When people come to your house, they look at it and think, did you really pay $10,000 for this? I don't think so. Whereas in scenario number 2, you do the same thing, but instead of duct tape, you put a really nice frame around the painting.
As you probably would with a nice painting. I get he's trying to make an analogy. I get it. Just I would never buy a $10,000 painting first, and if I did, I wouldn't wrap it in duct tape. That'd be ridiculous. But I'm okay. It's an analogy. It's whatever.
They'll walk in and say, wow, Brendan, this painting looks amazing. So what's the difference between both? The only difference is the frame. And the reason I tell you this is because in communication, unfortunately, the frame reuse is duct tape. So change it. So it'll change the way people look at you.
You know, I'm kind of with this one. I think the analogy definitely has its issues. I think the analogy, you want to make fun of it. I can get behind the idea of the frame of something making what's inside of it look nice or not. I can get behind it. I get what he's going for. Kind of like the frame of this video makes him look like he knows what he's talking about because he's acting like he's on a podcast and he's all dressed up nice in a very nice background. It's almost prophetic how meta this goes, actually, because the frame of this itself might be the nice frame. We got big L advice on this one, though. You guys disagree with me big time. 93%. This is the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. 6,500 languages in the world, and bro chose to speak nonsense. Fair enough. Yeah, no, Brendan's kind of interesting because I feel like he's got, like, he's not doing satire. Like, this is real. He does want to help people with communication. That's good, admirable, but I do feel like he just is just kind of speaking out of his ass. I don't want to, like, rip on him, but he does just be talking some bullshit. Oh, get ready to get mad, chat. Oh, get ready to get pissed. I might start making some slanted comments after this one.
You don't have to drink to have fun. When I was in college, I would go to so many parties and I would never
I gotta hold myself back.
Never drink even once, just water. And the funniest part is all my friends knew that and still loved it about me. So whenever they would call a round of shots, I would always get a shot of water.
I just want to also point out, by the way, we are still in fake podcast land. These have all been fake podcast clips where he's looking away from the camera as if to act as if he's telling a story, which is so funny.
So I didn't feel left out, and we'd all take shots together, except for me, it was just plain water. So while all of my friends were spending hundreds of dollars going to clubs and nightclubs and parties, I would just spend the cover fee.
Okay, look, all right, so on drinking water and being sober, great. Good for you. If you still want to go out, great. Don't throw it in my face, okay? If I'm going out to a bar or a club, you got to be like, oh, I'm the water guy. Yo, give me a shot of water too so I can join it, you know? Just be cool. There's a guy that I go out with in upstate New York who's been sober for like 5 years. Guess when I learned he was sober? This summer. I had no idea because the guy made it not known at all. If you want to even go to a bar or club, like that's fucking annoying. Good on you, I guess. I'm not sure I want to be in that environment. If you do, don't make it a big thing. Okay, so yeah, W or L advice on this one. Why is his face talking in italics? I'm actually not sure. I know he has a disability in his arm. I'm not sure if that affects his face. It might. I'm not really sure. But regardless, making fun of people's appearances in general isn't great. What I will say, this is the most ableist I'll be, is that if I had his look, you guys would never let me hear the end of it. This chat right now would be nonstop making fun of me. That's all I gotta say. Because we started the stream out making fun of this. Say I'm wrong. Suddenly calling my hair a receding hairline seems like it's not that funny anymore, huh? Okay, we got L on this one. Let's go. Here's where I start losing Brendan, because I kind of like, he's trying. Who cares? I mean, he's a little inauthentic. Some of the advice isn't great, but where he starts to lose me is when he starts fucking lying.
How to be an exceptional podcast guest. I've been on over 500 podcasts, and the reason I do well is because of the question drill. I make a list of every possible question I can get asked on a podcast, and I ask myself, if I were to redo this question, how could I have done better?
Bro has been on over 500 podcasts. He's been on over 500 different angles in his his room holding a microphone. There's no evidence of him actually being on podcasts that I could find. I got one, and I'm still not even sure that's a real podcast either. Even then, terrible advice. I think of every single question I could be asked. What are you, a politician? Is being a good podcast guest having a robotic answer prepared for every single question you could be asked?
How could I have answered that same question better? And that's the secret behind podcast guesting, is you'll get the same questions over and over again, but that's also why most people stink at it, because they don't take the time to watch the tape, to re-listen to their episodes and ask themselves how they.
What are you, a football player? Rewatch those tapes. That's why I, Gunner, rewatch every single YouTube video I post several thousand times, just to see if I could maybe do another wife swap with slightly less shitty jokes. Here is the one podcast he has been on, and believe it or not, the guys just don't fucking talk. He might have just brought these guys in from the street just to sit down, just to make it look like a podcast.
Before I met Vamsi, who are my current two business partners, though Vamsi is my main one, I never really had an interest in having a business partner. And the reason is because I'm obviously someone who works really hard. I go, well, if I'm putting in 10 hours a day and you're putting in 7, I'll immediately start doing the math in my head.
Dude, even these guys are kind of looking like how I look at the clips before. We're just like, okay, he's saying words, he's yapping. Everyone in the comments, they were waiting for this day. First human interaction. Bro finally talking to another human.
And it'll create resentment just because of the nature of my personality. So in what cases does it make sense to have a business partner? If they scammed you out of all of your money, all of your resources, and all of your time, you would still walk away the better person. If that is true, then
I don't even understand that. If they scam all of my money and resources and I still walk away the better person, then they're a good business partner? I can't even comprehend the app.
Let me give you an example with Vamsi, so this makes a lot more sense. Value he has delivered to me for free in my career has surpassed already all of the money or resources and fame I could ever get. I'll give you an example. He gave me my first 10 clients. If he never gave me those clients...
Notice how the other guys have not said a single word. Paying some random guy from the street to come into your house and pretend to be a podcast. So his first real podcast, I think. Maybe. It was a lot of yap. That was a lot of yip yap that time. I'm going to say the advice segment would be that you should have a business partner. If they scam you of your money and resources, you're still walk away the better person. I think that was it. That's the Japanese. This is the Japanese. He's just doing it. Gunner, is that racist? I don't know. Japanese, adding anese to the end of yap to make it a language. There's a lot of languages that end in anese, like Viets of sorts.
To demonstrate an exercise called 100 Faces,
100 Faces.
where I'll take a sentence from one of my speeches where I'm not sure what the right facial expression is, and I'll try a couple of different facials to see what the right answer is.
Try a couple of different what? What are you gonna try a couple different of? Careful there, Brendan.
Passion, 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 passion. Passion.
A little sexual on that last passion there.
Passion. Passion. Passion.
Okay, now actually, people are gonna be mean and kind of and they're gonna, and you guys in chat are gonna fucking rag on him. Actually, not a bad exercise. All right, to be fair, I'm gonna say W advice for once, Brendan. I'm gonna say W advice for once. Although, yeah, some of those passions, I do think you wanted to fuck me through the screen, and that kind of scared. WL advice on that one. Passion. See? And suddenly I can talk again. I can enunciate my words, and I'm not ableist anymore. Somehow. We got W on this one. All right. Hey, Brendan, nice. You're winning it back a little bit. All right, we got 3 daily public speaking exercises.
3 daily public speaking exercises. 1, the random word exercise. Pick 5 different words like light bulb, sink, bathroom, and create random presentations out of thin air. Do this every single day in your shower with friends and family.
Hold, brother. Now, here's my issue with Brendan is that he's the master of communication, the master of your talk, and he keeps having these slip-ups that seem pretty suspicious. In the shower with my family? You mean in the shower or with my family?
2, the question drill. We get asked questions all the time in our lives, so let's be proactive about them. Every single day, pick one question and answer it for 5 minutes on your expertise, your products or services, and do that every single day. And finally, number 3, video messages. Just pick 3 people you love the most in your life and send them each a 20-second video message, just showing them your appreciation for that.
That does sound very sweet in the end there. It's probably good advice if you have someone in your life that would accept that. My family, my friends would not. They'd tell me to shut the fuck up. I don't think any of his stuff is awful. He's just a yapper. Oh, I got one more. Okay, W on that one.
No idea what I was doing when I started making content on social media. Nobody would have looked at me and said, oh, you know, this guy, he's going to be a really successful communication coach. He should probably start making videos on public speaking. But
I'm not sure if he is successful yet. No, yet, to be honest.
Did it anyways for the 15-year-old girl who can't afford a communication coach. So just start and you'll figure out the rest.
This is what I'm saying, and this is the last point I want to drive home on him. How is his thing mastering communication in his talk? And he's got so many slip-ups like this. You're making your content for who? 15-year-old girl? If Gunner said that, you guys would be at my necks. You'd be like, what the fuck did he say? Kind of weird wanting to communicate with 15-year-old girls. And then the last thing about Brendan, he's got a YouTube channel, Master Your Talk. So something I found very interesting. So he's got a full YouTube channel, and like it really does have like a ton of videos. This isn't parody. Like, guy's on his grind, trying to be a communication coach. And in terms of talking, I think he could do a good job at it. I think he comes off a little inauthentic, a little smarmy when he talks, and I don't think that's good. Like, I think it's wrong to think that you can be the perfect presenter of things, because you really can't. You can be the best version of yourself doing it, maybe, but like personalities are very wide and large, and you can do it different ways. That's what I don't like about it, is like practicing something 500 times. You can do it the most inauthentic way possible, but where maybe you won't trip on your words, you know? I don't like that advice. Just to add to the framing stuff, I just thought this was interesting. You go to the description, and he says at the bottom here, special thanks to Mason Laporium for letting me use their space. So this whole time, you kind of like think he might be like a super rich dude, and like, oh, he's like the perfect guy, like for communication, we should all learn from him. This whole time, he's actually renting a space for these TikTok reels. I find that so interesting. Like, it's literally like a fucking clothing shop for suits, shirts, tuxedos, blazers. In addition to core offerings, we offer ancillary services such as rental of our beautiful historic showroom to members of the creative community and clients. Strange. All right, well, that's Yip Yap, Professor of Yapanese, Brendan Karamasamy. I'm sorry, that's a hard last name.